with Phil Knight and just being part of that process to show him the new uniforms. What was the entire experience like for you as a Eugene kid?
Yeah, man, it was an honor to be selected to, do that. I had never met him before, so to get to see him in the flesh and talk to him, present to him that idea was pretty cool.
Raider James.
Bryce, we've heard the stories before from Dan, but he was talking quite a bit about in the early years where you would hit anybody. Who did you hit that you weren't like? Who was the worst one? Like, did you deck Bo or Ty or Butters at the time or something that just like set him off?
I never did a quarterback. I knew that would kind of be over the top. Probably wouldn't be on the team anymore. But I got Bucky a couple times. Almost got in a fight with Coach Locke at practice over that one. Hit a couple slot receivers. Josh Delgado hit him pretty hard my first day on camp. Yeah, no, there's a good number of them. Hit Jordan James in a bowl game. Gave him a quad contusion I think it was a Holiday Bowl, and I almost got in a fight with Coach Locke again on that one. So yeah, no, I've had to make a little adjustment to my play style in practice, but yeah.
Back middle, Aaron.
Your position group has had a lot of success just getting hands on ball. I think 3 interceptions so far this season. What do you feel like for you is just allowing you guys to find that success so early this season and just getting those interceptions?
Yeah, I think it's just preaching it in the meeting room, and then doing it in practice. Like if you come out to a practice, our defense does a good job getting the ball, and it starts with the coaches. I mean, it's an emphasis every single day in our unit meetings. Who's getting the ball in practice, who's taking a ball shot, who's getting picks. So yeah, you practice you preach what you practice what you preach, and it shows up in the game.
On the left, Matt.
Dan said this game has historically come up and been decided in the trenches. Just kind of your thoughts on that mentality coming into this week.
Yeah, no, he's right. It always has. They're 12P, like to run downhill. And, in 2022, they showed us, they ended up beating us just by running the ball the past 2 years. Obviously, we came up ready to play, and we stopped the run pretty well and won the game. And, they're going to come out ready for this one. So, again, the most physical football team wins. And if we're the most physical team on Saturday, we'll win this one.
On the left, John.
Coverage instincts have continued to improve every year to the point where you're making plays like Saturday where you're just in the right place at the right time. Do you feel like that's more just getting those extra reps out there being at linebacker, or is that a testament to the work that goes in the film room and watching these offenses?
I'd say a little bit of both. Obviously, reps on the field are important. Knowing what the quarterback's going to do with the ball is also important, which comes to film study. You can see what his first read is. If he's kind of looking there pre-snap, and, you see that stuff on the field. So, yeah, a combination of both.
On the right, Zach.
You go back in time and say to, 10, 12-year-old Bryce that one day you'd be presenting Phil Knight with this uniform and be a starting linebacker at Oregon. You think he believes you?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not, man. I mean, I always had a dream of, being where I'm at now and doing what I've done, but, never would I have dreamed it would come, the way it has. So, I'm incredibly blessed.
Back right, Brett.
Bryce, obviously, I know last year you thought this rivalry game was going to be your last. Now, technically, this one will be. I'm just got to ask again, what does this rivalry game mean to you, knowing that it's going to be the last one you'll have at Autzen Stadium with them?
Yeah, it means a lot, man. Yesterday after practice, Bloody Tuesday, I was sitting in the end zone. I just pulled out a lawn chair, and I was thinking about getting some post-practice work in, got a couple catches on the Monarch, and I just sat there and kind of looked around for 20 minutes, looking at the guys' work and looking in the stadium, and just realizing that this is my last rivalry game. Baseball and football combined, and it's been quite the ride to say the least. So I'm gonna enjoy this one, and come Saturday, I'm bringing it my all, so it's gonna be good.
Right left, James.
Looking back at the run defense from last week, but especially when you guys adjusted to more true base when they went 12 and 13, and since that's going to be something that OSU does, how did you feel you guys did when you made that adjustment to base last week, and how it may or may not translate to this week?
Yeah, they on first down, man, they found a way to, move the ball. We got to do a better job of stopping them on first down. So, they kind of, have to make an adjustment and throw the ball on second and third and long and, whatever they may do there. Yeah, I think obviously this week we have a really good idea of what they're going to do. Whether they do it or not, who knows? Maybe they come out and 11P and, start air raiding it out. I, doubt they will, but maybe that happens. So we just got to be ready to adjust and, play physical football.
On the left, John.
Jerry had a couple plays on Saturday where he was just instantly in the backfield. It seemed like he just timed the snap up perfectly to defend some of those runs. What do you think that allows him to do that, and what have you seen from him out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously you got to have good blitz time up, but it starts with the guys up front. You know, our job is easy, and there's big gaping holes. One, when the D-line does their job, and two, when the offensive line messes up. So it's, you know, a combination of both. And obviously he had good blitz time up and ran through and made a good play. So, yeah.
All right, Zach.
Mentioned kind of processing the rivalry yesterday. What's the emotions you're feeling there? I mean, are you happy that you no longer have to think about Oregon State? Are you sad that this rivalry is over? What are you feeling?
A little bit of both. I mean, you know, I'd like to play at Oregon State every single year for the rest of my life. You know, it's a good, kind of wakes you up, and you know, I'm excited every week to play football, but this one definitely gets you up for sure. You know, I've heard they're not keeping it. You know, we don't have them on our schedule next year, but I think, you know, if whoever's out there listening to this, we got to get Oregon State and state game on our schedule every year. I think it's good for the state, good for the fans, good for the community, and obviously good for the in-state players or, you know, whoever wants to be a part of it.
Back left, we got a first timer.
Does it mean anything extra to get to finish this rivalry for you at Autzen rather than Reeser?
For sure. Yeah, I love playing in Autzen, my favorite place to play. You know, I don't like going up to Reeser and playing up there. You know, if I have to, I will, obviously. But you know, finishing off in Autzen the right way, something that's pretty special.